think many of you may know, has written numerous books and is one of the most successful wine writers in the world. He wrote, not about Asian cuisine, but only about Chinese food. He says, for Chinese food, choose white wine, German Mosel Riesling, good throughout the banquet, a light Monbazillac, which is a sweet white wine. The region is near Bordeaux. Chasselas, a white grape from Switzerland. Or Pinot Grigio, he writes. And this covers all Chinese cuisine. And I knew that there was a place for some new thinking and a new paradigm of approaching all the different types of Asian cuisine with wine. I'll read you another excerpt from a book called The Wine and Spirits Education Trust, Level 2 book. Simply says, for spicy food, spicy wines such as Gewürztraminer complement most spicy dishes, period. This is one of the reasons why I knew there was a gap in the information that was out there about food and wine. So 2년 전에 마스터 와인을 시험을 갖다가 끝내고 Asian Palate 책을 갖다가 쓰기 시작했어요. 그래서 연구를 갖다가 하면서 아시안 음식은 특징이 웨스턴 음식하고 차이가 많아서 중국 음식대에서만 쓰기도 싫고 한국 음식대에서도 너무 나로한 것 같고 그래서 아시안 음식대에서 쓰고 싶은데 어디서 시작을 할까? 연구를 하다 보니까 대답은 와인처럼 음식도 terroir, 그 original place where the food came from is also present in food. So my writing for the Asian Palate has been broken down by 10 cities. So for me, the Asian Palate was really a journey, a food and wine pairing and food and wine cultural journey into 10 major cities in Asia. And these 10 cities were identified because this is where food and wine is being most commonly enjoyed. One of the things that I found from studying wine is that there's a cultural aspect of wine enjoyment that is lacking for a lot of Asian wine lovers. And one of the aspects, another aspect that follows upon this cultural sensitivity is the lack of integrity for keeping the unique and long traditional flavors of a local cuisine. So 여기 이 자리에서 한국 음식을 퓨전으로 만들지 않고 우리 셰프하고 의논했을 때 메뉴를 갖다가 짤 때 한국 음식을 그대로 우리가 맨날 저녁 때 와서 집에서 먹는 음식, 전통적인 음식을 갖다가 그대로 서브를 하면서 와인이 그 사이에 들어가가지고 어떤 자질을 찾을까 하는 그런 오늘은 lecture. It's not a lecture or speech, but tonight is a journey. It's a dialogue. It's an interaction. An Asian palate, there is no definition of an Asian palate. It is a dialogue that we need to have to start now to find the answers, I believe, in 1 or possibly 2 generations from now. We will understand what is our preference for certain styles of wine. So 책 안에서는 한국 음식은 이런 와인이 제가 좋다, 나쁘다, avoid, recommend. There's a lot of these aspects inside the book. 그렇지만 지금 Asian palate 우리가 진짜 한국 사람으로서 뭐를 즐기고 무슨 맛이 맞는가 그 컨비네이션을 갖다 찾기 위해서는 내 생각에는 아직도 1 or 2 generation 더 필요할 것 같아요. 그래서 이 책은 starting point to the journey of understanding. I just want to talk about one thing which I will call the C factor. C stands for culture. And that's one of the most important things missing in food and wine pairing books and approaches and philosophies. The C is culture for our food history, culture of our dining habits, culture of the flavor combinations. And each city, each place is unique and different. One of the things that makes Korean food unique and different, first, compared to a Western meal or compared to a typical American, British, French cuisine, there is enormous diversity. 생각해보세요. 우리 typical 저녁 이 상에 나오면은 반찬이 얼마나 종류가 많아요. 외국 음식은 plated concept. 플레이트 안에서 그 diversity가 바로 그대로뿐이에요. 다른 뭐 반찬, condiment, seasoning 그런 컨셉트는 안 돼 있거든요. 그래서 diversity and range is enormous in Korean cuisine and most other Asian cuisines. Second factor, Korean cuisine is incredibly intense. 맛이 강하고 짜고 맵고 신맛도 있고 뭐 여러 가지가 다 포함되기 때문에 그리고 서빙이 다 한몫에 다 나오기 때문에 그 컨셉트가 와인 하나하고 매칭하는 게 문제가 많이 생기죠. 또 세 번째는 음식이 너무 많이 있고 우리가 밥 먹는 습관이 한 입에 고기만 계속 먹는 게 아니고 한 입에는 고기 먹다가 생선 먹고 또 그 다음에는 뭐 국 하나 떠 먹고 그런 그 먹는 스타일이 틀리기 때문에 그게 cultural factor. That's a cultural factor of how we eat. The fact that every bite, one after another, is different. So you're not talking about just the diversity of the food, but you're talking about intensity level and the way food interacts and how we appreciate food is to have diversity. Another fourth difference in Korean cuisine versus a lot of other Western styles of dining is that traditionally we do not drink beverages with our meal. Maybe 보리차, 물 그런 게 음식하고 같이 나오는데 보통 때는 우리가 음식만 마시는 그 헤비트가 버릇이 있어요. 그래서 와인을 갖다가 그 속에 들어놓으면은 제가 이런 렉처를 홍콩에서 저번 주에 했는데 한 분이 질문하는데 너무 그 질문이 meaningful한 질문이라서 제가 I'd like to share it with you. So one of the guests last week in Hong Kong asked me, are you supposed to put the wine in your mouth before you put the food in the middle while you're chewing, or after you swallowed? 그러니까 the concept of having a beverage with food or in a meal is not common, so they don't know when the combination should happen. So I was smiling and my answer was, it's not that serious of a question. There is no right or wrong. It's how you enjoy